Howdy, farm friends. How are you this evening? We are jumping on now and are happy to be live with you. Jacqueline is taking care of a couple of things outside, so she'll be in here in just a minute. And she's going to be jealous that I started without her, I think. But we'll make it up to her, won't we? Y'all got to help me make it up to her. Let's see here. Checking on these on the live comments to this point, the live chats. Got some folks from, let's see here. Howdy from Texas, says Miss Martha. Howdy. And Miss Martha, it's good to hear from you. Let's see. Diana says she's putting us on the big screen. All right. Tammy says good to see you. Good to see you too, Tammy. We got Nana's Little Loves from Minnesota. How are you? And then CS Nanny from Florida. Good to see you. So let's see here. I think that in Southern California, Miss Carmen, who I believe was the first one in the chat on YouTube. Speaking of YouTube, it looks like YouTube may be giving us some trouble. So everybody on Facebook, let's give those YouTube folks just a second to catch up to us. Hopefully they'll be joining us in just a minute. If not, we'll just keep on rolling and we'll get back up with them here pretty soon. So we've had a lot of stuff going on this week. I have been working on getting to feeling better after my surgery, and so far so good with that. Still not at 100%, really not, but I'm getting there. So I was able to go out and hoe a couple of rows in the garden yesterday, which made me very happy. Last night, really, as the sun was going down, was out there hoeing rows, but hopefully I'll get some squash in here pretty soon. All right, we got our YouTube stuff going too now, so everybody's with us. So howdy, everybody. Thanks again for being here. While I wait on Jacqueline to come inside, I wanted to show y'all something that Jacqueline did, and we're going to do some more of these here in the next couple of weeks. But this one looks really great now. Check this out back here. This. Jacqueline put a sweet potato in this vase, and we have sweet potato slips galore that have started. I cut off one a few weeks ago and put it in water, one of the slips itself, just to see how it would do going ahead and getting rooted, and it did really well. So I'm going to start cutting some of these off to start getting rooted, and we've got a few more sweet potatoes that we saved from the sweet potatoes that we grew this year that we're going to go ahead and do the same thing with to get some sweet potato slips. I don't know about y'all, but I think this is a really cool looking plant as well, and the fact that it works so well as a house plant I think is awesome. So I'm going to put that back up there and try not to drop it. There we go. Isn't that cool looking? So those are our sweet potato starts, our sweet potato slips that we'll be using this year. And I'm really excited to have some of those going already and can't wait to get those in the ground. But I'll have to wait. We don't really do sweet potatoes here in Alabama until end of May, beginning of June. That's a good time to put them in. And that way they really like the heat, and so you can actually get a first crop in where you're going to be planting those sweet potatoes in your garden before you get the sweet potatoes in. So I'm going to do squash where I'm going to do sweet potatoes this year. Squash will be my first planting because the bugs are probably going to get to those squash pretty early on. We may do a second planting of squash later on, but I like to get squash right up front. We'll be freezing some and definitely trying freeze-drying squash for the first time this year. But that'll be what our first planting is, and that will grow alongside our tomatoes and watermelon. And I started some beans this week, so I'm really excited about the beans as well. Y'all are going to hear me say really excited over and over and over again. Y'all know that's one of my things anyways. But I am now that I'm on the mend and able to do some work outside, I'm getting extra excited for spring. There's my better half.
Hi. I got a little carried away outside.
Imagine that.
I haven't been home yet today, and I was going around checking on everybody, doing evening chores, and I didn't realize the time had gotten a little bit later. But I don't know what you told them.
So far, I just talked about our sweet potato that's growing our slips back there and how cool that is.
The whole field of sweet potatoes we have growing in the dining room.
Yeah.
Goodness. Well, we've had a lot going on.
We really have. And it's been a while since we've done a live, so.
Yeah, it's been a couple of weeks, and we have just had so much going on the farm in our lives that we haven't been making videos since early last week. It's been a week since we put one out. And we're usually twice a week, and it's kind of funny. I've heard a lot of other channels that are our friends say similar things here lately. It's spring, it's busy season, and it's beautiful outside.
Yep.
And it's hard to slow down.
It really is.
It's really hard to slow down.
Now that we can get out there and now that it's sunny until 7:15 or so.
Yeah.
And it's just going to
It'll
keep.
be 8 o'clock soon, you know.
I love that. I hear from a lot of people that they hate the time change. And I get the whole, hating the time change thing. Is this too controversial?
We want it to stay this way.
Yes, that's what I mean.
We want it to stay this way, this time change.
I know that some people really hate the time change, but I love when it's bright outside until 7:30 or 8 o'clock. I enjoy being in the sun. So.
Sorry, my whole face is hidden behind my cup when I take a drink. Oh man, it is. I don't even know what temperature it is outside, but it is so humid that I'm super sweaty, and I just ran outside for 20 minutes.
Yeah.
So part of a reason that we haven't made a video too is we've been trying to. We don't want to share sad things when there's not a resolution or we can't end on a positive note. And right now, our positive note on what's been going on is that we have not lost any more chickens, ducks, or geese, knock on wood. But if you saw one of our previous videos, I think it was 2 videos ago actually, was about our female goose, Bob, not hatching her babies, and we took eggs, and her nest got raided, and it was a good thing we took eggs because otherwise there wouldn't have been any goslings this year for her. But through that process, the day of Zach's surgery, actually, we lost our gander. Is that what you call it? Is that what a male goose is called? I just always say our male goose our male goose ice cream.
Yeah.
I think it's a gander. But anyways, a predator killed our male goose ice cream. And it wasn't a violent attack. I think he was chasing something. And whatever he was chasing just bit him one time in the chest. It was one puncture. And he just stopped in the chase. And he wasn't disturbed or anything like that. Then the next day was the chicken show where Eleanor won a ribbon, her first big ribbon, and I came home, and Zach, of course, had been in the house all day. Your mom had been here with you. They hadn't been outside doing anything. It was the day after surgery. And I started looking, and I started finding piles of feathers, and the goats would not go into their barn. They were laying in the grass in the dark, asleep, when I walked up, completely unharmed. Nothing had bothered the goats, but something had gone into the goat pen and gotten a chicken. And so that leads me to think maybe a smaller predator. I thought then that it was a pair of hawks, because we've seen hawks in pairs because it's breeding season, or potentially a pair of bald eagles that we see semi-regularly every couple of months. and I'd seen them fly really, really low. I actually shared a reel on our Facebook of it, the lowest I'd ever seen them fly. So I immediately thought aerial predator, but there were no bodies. There was no bodies, and that day we lost 6 chickens. And not all of our chickens free range. We have a free range flock, pasture flock as I call them. They sleep in a coop at night and they're out during the day, and they go out really early. Just as the sun is coming up, they're already out in the field finding the good morning bugs before all the birds get to them. And at this point, we have lost all but 2 of the chickens that lived in the pasture flock. And the reason we didn't lose the 2 was because they kind of migrated up to living with the rest of the chickens that are cooped more often. Out of choice, they were smart.
Yeah.
But these attacks have been happening early in the morning. At this point in the last couple of months, last 2 months, we have lost about 25 adult hens and 2 roosters. And that is a very hard hit for us, especially with our hatching egg and our chick business. Thankfully, we have a ton of chickens. And while, that slowed down being able to ship out orders, it's been fine. That's been okay. But these were our pets. A lot of these chickens had names. Some of these chickens were our very first chickens. Jolene is gone. I can't say too much because if I name names, Eleanor gets really sad. She said, yeah. So it's been hard to want to make any videos and share everything that's been going on. I told him I'd rather just tell y'all in a live because I don't want to put out a sad video and dwell on the sad. I tried to start filming it the other day, and I told Eleanor, because she was out in the field with me, I said, I just don't want to talk about this. It's hard enough. I just don't want to talk about it. And she said, let's not talk about it, Mommy. Let's go inside and let's do a happy craft. I'm like, my child knows me. So it hasn't felt right to dwell on it. But with that said, we will have a video coming out about our solution to our problem. So through our friendships that we have made, we were put in contact with G&G Farms, and she is Predator Patrol Wildlife.com. Google that. Search
I'll
it.
Google
Because
it.
I want to make sure I'm right. It's Catherine. But we were put into contact with her, and she is a state certified wildlife trapper with the state of Alabama, and she's licensed and everything. And she said, I want to come and help you. I want to put out traps. We've got to get this predator off of your property, off of coming onto your property. And through that, we have found that we probably have a multiple predator situation. We have predators coming and stealing eggs, and we know that, and our ducks lay everywhere, and we try to get those eggs up, but they lay around the edge of the pond. They have hidden nests because they are totally free range.
Is that it?
Yes. And so that is a draw for natural wildlife predators, weasels, raccoons, possums, and we want the wildlife to be here. We want to enjoy the wildlife. We have always been people who love watching animals, watching natural animals in their habitats. And we know that our livestock is the unnatural ones in the environment, but we have chosen to bring them here, and so it's up to us to protect them. And through that, we are having to remove the overpopulation of predators, and we only have 10 acres, and if we get just 3 coyotes on our property coming regularly, then we have no animals.
Yeah, if we have one coyote
if we
coming
have
regularly,
one,
we have no
yes,
animals.
if we have one coyote coming regularly, we have no ducks, we have no geese, and we have no chickens who are able to be let out of a pen ever. And they will take any opportunity to get our goats that they can. And a ton of people have told us get a livestock protection dog, get an LGD. And where we are on a busy road. We have neighbors close by. We would have, if we got a livestock guardian, we would then have to pin that livestock guardian in with our goats inside of an electric fence all the time. It couldn't roam and patrol our property the way that they need to. Even people with 40, 100 acres, their LGD will roam past that.
Yep.
And we are not in a place where that would be the right decision for us. Also, your anxiety is triggered heavily by your dog barking. That is some like childhood fear and other stuff, if you want to talk about that at all.
Long story short, I haven't always been a great animal owner or caretaker. And so I have had dogs in the past that have barked a lot in situations where you don't want to have a barking dog. When I lived in an apartment for a while and had barking dogs.
Barking through the night, all of that, it triggers his anxiety. And there's also fear of your dog bothering somebody else or running away.
Yeah. And I've had dogs that have been run over in the road, multiple dogs through my childhood.
As a child.
And so it would be something that I was constantly worried about, and the anxiety from not being able to control taking care of that animal would be so high. The anxiety from that would be so bad that I just don't know that it's worth going through that. And y'all know that anytime that we take responsibility for an animal, we want to be able to give it the utmost care. We want it to be safe and loved, and so we don't want to take in an animal that we don't know that we can protect. And so that's why we're dealing with this predator issue to begin with, is because we're trying to protect
and
those
somebody
animals.
mentioned Lady. Thank God Lady is safe with y'all.
Yeah.
Lady has been going out on a leash. And it's so sad. I absolutely hate it, and so does she. She absolutely hates it. But she doesn't go far. But we are keeping her right with us. We're going to be fencing in the backyard again. I put up that temporary 6-foot garden fence, and that has been semi-sufficient at keeping her in, but she's going out on a leash anytime she goes out right now, and that's been 2 weeks of that. It's been like 2 weeks of doing that. But Catherine over at G&G Farms on Facebook and PredatorPatrolWildlife.com. So what she did, she actually came out. We're going to put a video out about it, but she came out and taught me how to trap. And the comfort that immediately gave me to know here is a solution that is proven to work. It is legal to do on our own property. We aren't trapping anything for fur or to sell or anything like that. This is just for nuisance predator patrol. We have got raccoons on our trail cameras, and we have paw print evidence. Either we have a large fox or we have a couple of coyotes coming. We're not sure which yet. I'm hoping that we get them on our camera soon. But our problem has been we have so many possum and raccoons that they are raiding our baited holes next to our foot traps, and they're getting the bait before anything bigger can get comfortable with the surroundings and come along and be trapped. So we are taking care of the raccoons, and we are really, really, really hopeful that we are going to catch this larger predator that is posing this much larger threat to our goats, to our ducks, geese, chickens. Bob is doing wonderful. I was just out there with her, and I brought in, look what I found.
Yeah, I
He
saw those
doesn't
in
know.
the back corner of I saw a nest. I didn't know.
Bob
there
has
were
laid
multiple
2
eggs.
eggs, and I highly doubt that these are fertile because it's been about 3 weeks now without ice cream.
I mean, it's worth, putting them in and seeing.
Yeah. Well,
Worst case
we can try.
is
You can
they,
see her
explode,
little
but-
fuzzy feather on there.
Yeah.
But the babies are huge. They are so
They are.
big. They're like this tall.
Yeah, I had to get them back into the run
I just
today.
did that. That's
Yeah.
what I was doing.
There's a little hole just to the right of the door that I need to go
Okay.
out and put wire on.
Okay.
So they're sneaky. They found their way out. The other day, we'll put this in a video soon as well. I did video it when I was out there. The other day, I was looking around and I heard, I just kind of went for a walk because I still wasn't feeling up to really doing any work. So I went for a walk out by the pig pen, and I heard cheeping or
They have a very like soft, sweet peep.
Yeah. It's almost like a caw, but it very. But anyway, so I hear the noise, and I thought, man, the geese babies are getting loud, because I wasn't quite right up to their pen yet. And so I go over by their pen and I look in, and Bob is standing in front of the run, not inside the run. And I realized that her babies...
I didn't even see the hole. I looked and I didn't see it.
The babies were over in the pig pen, playing in the water in the pig pen. And so...
Is that what you were videoing? I was up in the chicken pen working on some stuff.
Yeah, so I was able to pretty easily get them all back in there, but they had just busted the door open that day.
Yeah, and you told me the door was just open.
But
Bob has her 4 babies. Well, actually 5. She has 5 babies. So, and I'm not sure if that was super clear in the goose video, but the first 4 we collected when we first saw that she had laid eggs. And we said, let's go ahead and take a couple, because she's made her nest right next to the water all the way down here in the field. And first time making a nest for her, she picked a good spot for a goose, but not a good spot for living here. And so we took those 4 eggs, and then when Eleanor and I were fishing one day, we saw that a couple of the eggs had been eaten down there, and we noticed she was kind of sitting on them, kind of not. And we took 2 eggs that had actually been pushed out of the nest. And we brought those in, and that was about a week later. And so the first 4 eggs all hatched, and we have vanilla, chocolate, strawberry, and Scoop. Scoop. And then the baby that hatched out of the 2 eggs that we collected later, we've named him Neapolitan. And it's just a guess on... I'm going to go get Neapolitan in a minute.
He's still so tiny.
We're babying... Yeah, we are extra babying Neapolitan. He was a smaller egg. These are smaller eggs. These are smaller than what...
bigger than... I think this one... Is that one bigger? I think
it's
a little bit bigger.
just a little bit. I mean, this
that
is
one
almost...
looks giant to me.
This is almost the size of our duck eggs. But I found something else I was going to share with y'all too. So, for anybody that... I want to do some lives and some videos about chickens for people getting started with chickens who want to learn more about how to care for them and everything. But there are so many quirky things with chickens. And this is one of them. So it's been a high stress time for our chickens. I had a couple of eggs laid with no shell, which that means it went through the reproduction system too fast to form the shell around it. And that can happen out of stress and fear. That can also happen with a calcium deficiency, but we know our chickens don't have a calcium deficiency because we give them everything they need. But this is something that can happen. And this egg, y'all, and I broke it a little bit because it's got a thin spot, but you can see this egg looks all wrinkled. I hope I don't drop it on the computer.
Don't drop it on the computer.
It looks like it has like a drawn up area, and it's wrinkly. And this is another sign that your hen is stressed. Is any wonky eggs like this. And soft shell eggs, eggs with no shell. Eleanor's doing Legos. But that is another sign that you've got some stress happening with your chickens, which we know what it's from. We know it's from they're being locked up all the time right now. They're having to stay either in a coop run or in the big pen during the day. They're not being totally let out to enjoy all the beautiful grass and bugs right now. You get it? But anytime you see wonky eggs, make sure you're giving them enough calcium, or that your feed contains enough calcium, or check for other signs of stress in the coop. It could be that one is being picked on a lot by the rest of the flock. It could be that you have a snake in your coop. Could be that you have a predator coming into their area. If you do, you'll notice that they stay closer to where they sleep more, unless that predator is hanging out in there, and then they won't go up in their coop. There are different things to watch for, but it's so interesting how their bodies will reflect the stress, just like ours will. It affects our sleep and how we feel.
Oh yeah, we know all about the effects on your body of stress that stress can have.
We have a lot of exciting and happy things happening.
We do. And it's a fun time of year, and we've got a lot of new life going on, even in the midst of loss. Lots of new life around us, and there's going to be a video coming out tomorrow morning that where I kind of went around the farm and just kind of showed what I've been working on the last few days as I've had a little bit more energy, and I kind of give you a tour of what our gardens look like right now. It is a little negative, but at the same time there's hope in it. And you can see the excitement in my face, I'm sure, in the video as I go through and show what's going on. So that'll be coming out tomorrow morning. So if you're wondering what our gardens look like right now, check that out, and the greenhouse as well. So
yes, the greenhouse, it's making progress. I've been putting things in stories about what's going on here. We just haven't put out a video about everything that's been going on. And something huge that happened, I mean, outside of the sad stuff with the chickens, it's been a week, a little bit more than a week now, or no, right at a week since the last attack, and since Catherine came out, showed me how to set traps. We got the traps set. We've been monitoring. We haven't had any other problems so far. But we've had a lot going on as a family. And Eleanor wants to share with y'all. I know a lot of you saw in our stories on Facebook and on Instagram, but Eleanor was in her first ever beauty pageant over the weekend. And I have always been really, really hesitant to allow her or to put her into beauty pageants, because before this, it would have been my decision. It would have been me saying, okay, Eleanor, let's do this beauty pageant. But her little school had a beauty pageant for the whole community, several schools combined.
Somebody might have saw it. It was posted on Facebook.
But she wants to show y'all what happened at her beauty pageant. What happened, Eleanor?
I won the whole pageant.
This girl has never done a beauty pageant before. But you know what?
What?
I think it was an awful lot like a chicken show.
I think so.
We said we prepared her for like 2 months since she brought home the registration for the pageant, that everybody doesn't win. And she said, oh, it's just like the chicken shows. Most people don't win at the chicken shows. And I'm like, she's been listening, which of course she has. She absorbs everything. But she was like, yeah, Mom, everybody doesn't win at a chicken show. So it's the same way. It's just like me being in a chicken show. But she wore a beautiful dress, and she walked like an absolute graceful angel. How did you smile?
Really big at the judges.
Really big at the judges.
You can tell I wanted to win if you were actually, if somebody in the comments was there, you would think I wanted to be on stage and I wanted to win.
You did want to win. Everybody wants to win,
Yes.
don't they? And
except for my friends wanted to cheer me up and make me win.
at school on Monday, she went to school, and we had lots of conversations before the pageant ever happened too about being a good sport if you don't win, and also being a even better sport if you do win, and being kind to others, because it could be anybody's day that day, couldn't it?
Yes.
And we prepared her, in case there were any little girls with their feelings hurt, because lots of her friends were in the pageant. And her friends, she has some just wonderful friends, because they all told her that they were so happy that she won. And that just I don't know. It blessed my heart.
People that weren't there, they were proud of me.
Yeah. And Eleanor has decided that she wants to do some more pageants.
I'm doing another.
So she's already doing another. We have registered for 2 for fun. And are you and Mommy having lots of fun doing it?
Yes.
You are?
I'm going to show you what I won for this.
It looks like an Elsa crown. It's beautiful.
If you like Elsa, I'm like the Elsa.
Lady's trying to get up here. Well, we are so proud of you for so many things.
We are.
And you know that, don't you?
you?
And she's playing with her Legos. Thank you, Eleanor.
We are very proud of our smart, strong, pretty little girl. And she, the thing about
Would you like to go
the
and
way
get the
that
goose?
she
The baby
participated
Oh,
in this beauty pageant, I don't think it is so much that the way that she looked, even her
she
appearance.
looked absolutely beautiful.
She did. But what I mean is, she listened to instruction.
Mm-hmm.
She knew, she had an idea of how she should go about and what the rules were,
Mm-hmm.
and what the criteria was. And she paid attention, and she did that. She did it very well, and so we're very proud of her for that.
And you know what? We'll do it as long as she's having fun.
Yeah.
That was the main thing we told her, that this
Oh my goodness!
this is all for fun.
Yes, only for fun. And whenever she doesn't want to do something,
He's all wet.
she doesn't
He's been
really
playing
do
in
it.
the water.
Uh-huh.
This is Neapolitan.
Yes, this is the tiniest of the goslings.
He is just about a week and a half younger than the other ones, than his brothers and sisters.
But I think he's a little bit smaller than
Mm-hmm.
what they were even at that point.
He's so cute.
Hey, don't poop on my...
And I'm pretty sure that this is a boy. I think the boys are more yellow, like ice cream. And then the girls,
Yeah.
the other 3
If
we
that-
have dark beaks.
If that's the case, then we have 2 that are male
Yeah,
and 3
that's what
that
I
are
meant.
female. And that's cool. That'd be cool. I'd be okay with that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be okay with it no matter what. But
And in about a month, it's going to start being really loud.
oh my goodness.
It's going to start being really loud out here. The Burb King, yes, he's too small to go with Bob and the other babies right now still. I'm hoping that we can integrate him, but even if we can't, we can raise him. He's being raised with chicks right now. So he can be raised with chicks, and he may decide to hang out with
Chickens.
chicks.
Yeah.
With chickens.
Really, that's kind of our preference.
Yeah.
Is if he recognizes the chicks as his flock, then he'll protect them, just like Ice Cream did. That is absolutely what Ice Cream
That's
was
what
doing.
Ice Cream was. That's what we hatched him for. So our geese came from Cog Hill.
Farm.
They came from Cog Hill. They gave us 7 eggs last year, and we had 2 hatch. We had more develop, but we had 2 hatch. And that was Bob. And don't do that. That'll break. That egg will break. That'd be a mess.
Mr. Cuphead
Mm-hmm. You'll have
Yes.
egg on your new Legos.
That was Bob and Ice Cream that hatched.
Yes.
So
And about a year ago. So I was really surprised that Bob started laying eggs, because everything I'd seen said 16 to 18 months old.
yeah.
And she was like 10 and 11 months old.
Yeah, and we had no idea that she was old enough to lay until we found like
You wanna go put
14
him up, or
eggs
you
or
want me
something
to?
like that.
Okay, I'm going to go put him up.
I don't want
Hidden
to.
in a
That
nest.
part's warm.
I don't want to be pooped on.
Let's see here. Thank you to everybody that said kind things about Eleanor.
Did anybody?
Yes, lots of people did. They said congratulations. Barney Girl said you are beautiful inside and out.
Thank you.
Yes, thank y'all so much for those kind
I want
words.
to talk about my Legos.
You want to talk? Oh well, she has some fun Legos that she got today.
Yeah.
That she's having fun playing with, and That's another thing that I'm glad that she enjoys doing.
I don't know her name, but I looked. But this is Leon. That's
Leon. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I'm so very happy that she enjoys
Mama, pull up a
Legos and chickens and all that stuff. It's just it's nice that that those are her interests, and they're things that we can enjoy together.
Come here. The problem is we don't have another chair.
Oh,
Yeah.
Mommy.
You coming back
Have
in?
another chair.
Pushed me. Let me get back
I
on
picked you up.
Wee.
Oh, girl, you're getting so big.
But y'all, I actually had a salad from the garden today.
You did. No
did.
fair.
I did. We've got
Eleanor said it
2
too.
rows of baby leaf lettuce that I planted like in January, maybe December or January.
Yeah.
Before that really bad Arctic freeze came through, they were just barely sprouting up during that, and I covered them with hay, and they lived, and they're just perfect size for eating now. So that's what I had for lunch today. I can't wait until we've got tomatoes and cucumbers to go
And I
in the
can get
salad
a.
with them.
Well, I actually said I cannot believe Easter is this weekend.
Me
Like
either.
Okay, go play your Legos.
And it's not a
Read the comments
super
to
early
myself.
Easter or anything either. We,
The comments to
it's
myself.
a, kind of mid-season Easter, I guess you would say. Not late, not early. But it snuck up on us, that's for sure. And with me being a pastor, the Holy Week is one of the busiest weeks out of the year for us, and also happens to be the week that all the old timers around here, all the folks that actually have gardening experience, say that you should plant is during Holy Week. That's when you plant your vegetable garden. And so I've been holding off until this week for multiple reasons, for being down health wise, but also because normally we get a freeze the week before Holy Week.
Yeah, and it is so
or
hot.
at least a frost.
It's not happening.
Yeah, no, and somebody mentioned Cog Hill, and we've mentioned Cog Hill tonight, but they mentioned earlier, and we mentioned Catherine at GP Farms. Catherine posted either this morning or yesterday that James Spann, our local weatherman,
This morning.
said that we are past the danger of a late frost.
We are headed to above average temperatures for like the next 2 weeks.
Yep.
With no hope of, I mean, he said maybe some chilly mornings, but no chance of frost.
Which is crazy because there's still snow, like a lot of places north of us. I mean, in the U.S., that's what I mean.
Yeah.
It was 83 degrees today, something like that, around here, and
It was hot.
it was.
Eleanor was saying it's hot.
Uh-huh.
So Eleanor has also just about outgrown all of her clothes, and if anybody with kids probably knows this, it seems to happen overnight. It's like their clothes get smaller on them, and you're like, oh, it's okay. Their pants aren't floods yet. It'll be fine. And then it's like you get them ready for school one morning, and you're like, oh no, you don't have any clothes that actually fit. So her and I actually went to the thrift store this evening after school and got a bunch of dresses and
Cool.
clothes for school. We are frequenters of the thrift stores to donate things and to buy.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yep.
it's a dangerous thing because
It is.
when things are cheaper, it's easy to buy more than what you should. She loves shopping, so that's something that we really enjoy doing together. And the pageants, I think, as long as she wants to do them, we'll do them together for fun. We have so many baby chickens, though.
We do.
And
Not just like baby, but
No,
like
couple months.
growing out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
so we have not moved all of our chicks, and a ton of them were bantams, so it's completely fine. They still have plenty of space, but we have probably 150 chicks / grow out chickens right now, which is a very good thing with us losing so many. I do this thing where I'm like, I'm going to slim down and I'm going to sell some hens and roosters, and then I don't. I don't do it. And people ask all the time if we have hens for sale, and I'm like, they all have names.
Yeah,
How do I sell something with a name?
At least 2 messages today asking if we have laying hens for sale.
That's why it's only chicks and eggs, because they don't get named.
And honestly, I do not know, other than like silkies, I don't know that we have ever actually sold laying hens.
Well,
we've like
I did
grown
to
out
Mr.
some.
Oh gosh, why did I just forget his name at church?
The Haglers? Oh no, Mr. John.
Mr.
Yeah.
John. Well, the Haglers too, but that's been a long
But
time.
we grew birds out specifically for them.
Yeah, I can do that sometimes, but that is still like such a small basis, and I can't promise, and I can't say what it'll be.
Yeah.
I can't say, okay, I'm going to grow out 5 Americana hens for somebody.
Yeah.
That does not happen. It has happened one time, and it was one.
Yeah.
It was one.
Y'all.
Well, I say that. Brooke and Jason at Cog Hill and Mary Carl, they have Imogene, who is a lavender Americana who hatched here, and we grew out here. But she had something called rye tail, which is just a genetic deformity that happens, and her tail, instead of standing upright, goes to the side. And goodness, can you see it with her running around on their videos? She's waddling and running, and her little tail is totally sideways. So for breeding purposes, we didn't need to keep her genetics in with our flock. So she went to live with them, and she lays beautiful blue eggs for them. And I have another one for them. Later on, it's another situation like that. So a lot of anything that we do get rid of that is an adult, I'm giving away to somebody that I trust very much. And we're getting rid of it for a specific reason. It's not just that we have too many. And I don't get rid of them because I have too many, because of what just happened. It takes one or two attacks from a roaming dog. We haven't had that happen in a long time now, but we
a
learned.
long time for us to go without a predator issue is like 6 months.
Yeah,
that's a long time for us. We have high predator pressure, but it winds up being like, so last year the big problem was other people's dogs.
Or dumped dogs. They weren't really other people's.
It was probably half and half.
Yeah.
Like
we had some
full-blown,
huskies. Yeah, we had some huskies travel 4 miles.
Yeah, 3.5, 4 miles.
A pair of somebody's huskies traveled several miles to come play on our property and kill every single one of our grow out chickens in a morning that were in a pen.
Yeah.
And I thought a small predator had gotten in because there was a hole only about this big, but it was right where little chickens don't understand how to roost. And you have to teach them. You have to pick them up and set them on the roost every night. And it got to where half of them were roosting and half of them were still sleeping in the corner piled up. And it ended up that dog had broken in just the corner and pulled each one out that it could get to. And then they had barked and terrified the others to the points that they had heart attacks and died. Those situations are a total punch to the gut, because that, at 40, that was all of our breeders, our hopeful breeders for the next year. And our shower, like the ones that we would grow out and show. And I had some projects that I was working on with egg colors and that. It's hard. Chickens are hard, y'all.
Yeah.
But in those situations, when it is a domesticated dog, and it's someone else's negligence, either by dumping them out in the country or by not keeping their dogs up, very reason that we can't let our own selves have a big dog that might roam, the fear of something happening, because they'll go eat somebody else's stuff and protect what they have at home. So it's just a catch-22 in every direction. But we've been through predator issues, and we have very, very nice secure coops. But living the way that we do and living where we do, it doesn't feel right to us to keep everything locked up.
Yeah.
24/7. It doesn't. I have 2 flocks that stay locked up 24/7, and that is the lavender Americanas and the Marans. And I can't stand that. I cannot stand that. But it's necessary.
The Burb King over on YouTube said that they
You
would
just
like
flipped to
to,
Facebook.
that they would like to start free ranging some chickens this spring, but they're worried about predators. Honestly, there is no solution that is 100% going to protect chickens from predators if you're free ranging at all.
Yeah. The only way to fully protect them and know that, be 95% sure that nothing is going to happen to them, is inside a hardware cloth. We use 1/2 inch by 1/2 inch hardware cloth, welded wire hardware cloth, and buried 1.5 feet deep under the ground around the run. So they have a dedicated coop, and then they have a run that is 4x4s, and the welded wire is all the way around that and buried and over the top, and the runs are covered so they remain totally dry, because a good way for your chickens to get sick is to be on wet ground. If their ground is dry and they're cooped all the time, they're cooped / in a run all the time, then you're not going to have illness issues the way that you would if the ground was getting wet, because wet, warm ground breeds bacteria and parasites and disease. So if you want nothing to ever happen to your chickens predator-wise, that's how it's got to stay. And even that way, we had a snake we had a huge 6.5 foot chicken snake, rat snake, in the lavender Americana coop for multiple days in the late fall. And I was like, I'm not getting any eggs. Why are they all taking a break here at the same time? And I saw the snake's scales underneath the insert that was in the laying box, and I'd been sticking my hand in there every day.
So she came and got me out of bed, and
I was like, there's a massive snake in the coop.
But,
hey, baby.
But ultimately, we have come to a place where we understand that there's no way that we are going to be able to 100% protect specifically our chickens from predators. And so we go ahead and say at least some of the birds that we have, and these are more utility birds than business birds, you could say. The birds that we eat eggs from are all free range. I cannot tell you the last time I ate an egg that I prepared anyways, or that one of us prepared, that was not a free range egg.
Yeah, our cooped eggs
those are sold for hatching eggs.
Now in the off season, we'll eat them.
Yeah, but even then, I mean, I prefer the duck eggs anyways, and we free range our ducks, and it's the same way with the ducks. We could probably figure out some sort of system where we keep them caged really well, but we want them to be able to enjoy the pond and the hillside, and they love it. They love it. And because they are a domesticated breed, it means that they're not going to fly away, but it also means they can't fly away from predators.
They can get a few feet off the ground and kind of hop. It's not enough to get away.
Yeah. So all that to say to the Burb King, if you are thinking about free ranging, and then they just
in with your chickens and let them out for a little bit, they will have a field day. It will. If your chickens are cooped anyways, they know where they sleep. You may need to help them a little bit on a schedule regularly. Predators that you never even see are going to learn that schedule. Hawks will learn that schedule, and you'll never even know that they've been observing.
Yeah. But so what I was going to say is, if you want to free range chickens, start a small free range flock. Get some chickens that the point of their, I mean, this sounds terrible. The point of their existence is to free range. You enjoy each other. They have a different standard of living than Coop's chickens. Some Coop's chickens have incredible standards of living, like better than I have. But when it comes down to it, when it comes to free ranging, it is a different type of life for those birds, and we really enjoy giving that type of life to a bird, even if it winds up being a shorter life than what it would be in a coop. And that's not guaranteed, because they, predators can break into coops, but also chickens can get sick in coops.
It depends on what predators you have. If you have bears, I have some friends in Tennessee and in Arkansas have just had their coops decimated. The doors ripped off by bears. And the only way to combat that is electric wire all the way around the area all the time, which means you then have to deal with that going in and out every day. So that's another barrier between you spending time with your animals. I mean, there's no perfect answer, but if you free range, you have to be comfortable with losing birds. You have to be, I mean, same idea of having a herd of sheep on large plots of land, where there are wolves. It's going to happen. You're going to have loss. If you have animals, you're going to have loss.
This is not a perfect example by any means, but it's kind of like raising a child to a certain extent. You can try and protect them as much as you want, but ultimately, if you just cage them in, then it's going to be a different life than what they would live otherwise. And so the way that we view it, and like I said, it's not a perfect metaphor here. You can have chickens that are caged in their entire lives. They're perfectly happy. They've been bred to do that. But we do like to see our chickens as much as we can. We enjoy seeing them free ranging.
I mean, they're domesticated livestock, so they're okay being caged, but it brings on and when I say we just mean cooped. We don't mean caged, like as in the caged egg laying in production farms and stuff like that. I don't feel like that is a good existence at all.
And honestly, we have a lot of friends that have decent sized showing operations, and they are wonderful people, but we would not keep our birds the same way that they do. And it's not everybody that shows or anything like that. I don't know if I would say that our friends have that.
I would say that people we know have that.
Well, and there's also a difference. Seen it. There's also a difference between keeping a bird in a small cage for its entire life and putting a bird in a smaller cage to condition for a show.
Oh, yeah.
But all that being said, we so enjoy the free ranging, and we can tell, y'all, I know it sounds ridiculous, but we can tell that the birds enjoy it.
Oh, yes.
We can see the difference.
I don't know how much Eleanor enjoys it.
Well, it depends on what roosters are around at any given time.
We have nice roosters, but she is a lover of all animals. And not too long ago, her and I were outside, and one of the blue Americanas was running around, and I knew she had something in her mouth. I was like, what has she got? And she had a lizard. And Eleanor loves reptiles. I mean, she loves all animals, but she loves reptiles. And she was like, Mommy.
The ducks got a snake last year. So.
The chickens? Okay, we have a couple of feral cats. I know one is around right now. I haven't seen any more. They come and go.
I haven't really seen them lately at all.
It was out behind the Americana coop 2 nights ago. The white one with
I say that and then
spots.
Realize the last month
I know
I've
you
been
haven't.
Inside most of the time. So.
But anyways, they have a couple of feral cats that stay around. We don't have any official pet barn cats or anything because of that, because of the potential of disease from these feral cats. But the feral cats, I was like, oh, they're taking care of the mice in the barn. We had mice in our barn bad 2 winters ago, to the point where the sun came out one day and there were like 4 of them in the barn in the sunshine. And I was like, in the broad daylight. I was like, no, we've got to do something.
That's when you know you've got a big
We have
problem.
got to do something. It's little field mice, but I was like, oh no. But the chickens hanging out in the barn have kept the mouse population down, along with the feral cats. that have showed up. But my goodness, I will always free range chickens, but they will not live in the pasture anymore because they are too accessible to predators. So that's the big change that we are making. We have a set of breeding runs that we built that are 4x8. And that was just to keep like a trio of chickens during breeding season, so I could do projects and we could, like right now, I really want to hatch, I want to breed and hatch some of our blue-laced red Wyandottes. And I'm so thankful that nothing has happened to our rooster Big Blue, because I would immediately not have a way to do that. And we have a golden laced Wyandotte, we have a black laced red, and we have a splash laced red, and then we've got our blue laced rooster. And I can make some really beautiful chicks with those, and I want to add some more of those, and they're hard to find. So I want to separate those off. So we built the breeding runs for that, but what they ended up being, I don't have any small projects that I'm doing, and they just turned into where all the chickens would go and sleep at night that preferred to be up here in the big pen. And it's 4 runs, and what we're going to do is turn it into just 2 and kind of make those more dedicated coops that everybody can go and sleep in at night, and each one will hold 25 birds easy. Just for sleeping space, not sleeping and egg laying space, not up all the time space. And then if we decide, I have a bunch of stuff. Y'all. We have added more Bantam Cochins, which we absolutely love. Bantam Cochins. We got those as chicks from a hatchery in hopes that Eleanor would have some more Cochins that she could show. That was the purpose for them, and we just love them. We just absolutely love Bantam Cochins.
Cochins are so sweet. They really are. We're hearing that we've got some.
Eleanor's using the internet.
Well, we're hearing it is happening
on
on Facebook, and that it's happening on other people's stuff too right now. So, Facebook folks, sorry about that. If we're skipping, starting, and stopping, hopefully at least when you watch it back, it won't be that way. But thanks for hanging in there with us, anyways.
But we've thinned down on silkies. We still have any of our silkies with names. But our silkies, when we went on vacation in September, they sat on a mess of eggs and hatched like 20 babies. And so I've thinned those down. Those have gone to really good homes, some friends. And I decided that I wanted to rehome most of our Polish because I didn't feel confident in free ranging them because they are not very smart. They are, out of all of the chickens that we have had, and we have a lot of different breeds, the Polish, I just had zero confidence that they could fend for themselves in any form or fashion. And I didn't want to keep them living in the Bantam coop because that's where they've been. They've been living in the silky coop. So I have rehomed those. Those went to a good home up in North Alabama. And we've kept Miss Frizzle. Eleanor would not let me get rid of Miss Frizzle. She has a name. The other 4 did not have a name. But we're making space to start moving our grow-outs out of the chick house and into the silky coop. And it's gonna be a good time. It's gonna be a good time. And actually, one of our partners, Avitaven, is avitaven.com. I
think so. You can on YouTube. I put the link in the description of this.
Oh, okay.
Facebook, on any of our videos, you can find the link in the description there.
Well, Avitaven has sent us their newest coop design to put together and review to see how we like it, and it is a mobile coop. So I'm excited about that, and I'm actually thinking that maybe some of our Saramas will end up living in that mobile coop, and I like that I'll be able to move it onto fresh grass, but also keep them safe and not be vulnerable to predators.
Yeah, and we already have a few lightweight, smaller coops that we can move around some, and then this one will be even better because it's meant to do that.
But that's coming up. I also have a tunnel to put together for my flowers that I am determined to get into the ground this year.
We got plenty of time for flowers. We got plenty of time, especially if we've got the tunnel going into those early frosts. Will be fun.
Well, thank y'all so much for hanging out with us. We really appreciate it. I hope that it hasn't been too sad on anybody or anything. I had a friend tell me the other day that she cried during our goose video, and I was like, I feel that because I was upset, but knowing I made somebody else cry, like, it hurts my heart a little bit. I know I just don't like making anybody sad. But it is, why are you laughing?
I'm laughing because, I'm a pastor, and I've been a pastor for almost a decade now. And so when I first started, that was how I knew I had done well in a sermon. There were a couple of older ladies that I would watch, and if they started tearing up, I knew I had done a good job. So hearing you say making somebody cry makes you sad.
Well, it does. It does. But thank y'all for being with us. We hope that y'all have a great week. Our video will be out. What time does it go up?
7-ish tomorrow morning.
Central time?
Yeah.
7 a.m. Central time. It'll be out. And we have a lot coming from the farm. A lot.
Yeah. We've got... Y'all, spring is hitting us like a ton of bricks. It snuck up on us, and then... now it's hitting us, but
we'll be back to projects, working hard outside really soon.
Yeah. So
I'm
glad that I'm starting to get some of my strength back because I'm going to need it.
Yeah, he's still taking it easy.
Yeah,
but I've had to slow down and back off a little bit because, it's a lot of work physically.
Well, and somebody on Facebook, I think it was Facebook earlier, asked if I was proud of Jacqueline because she's
I saw that.
A super farmer. And yes, y'all, I'm so thankful for this woman and proud of her. I mean, it showed on the channel for the last couple of months especially, but that's just who she is. She is one of the hardest working people I've ever known. Constantly...
can't be still. That's what he wants to say. She can't be still.
We're gonna leave it at hardest working person I know. Basically, our sole provider in terms of income when we first got missed, and it's not just stuff she does for money. She is a hard worker, and yet she does. She learns. If she doesn't know how to do something, do it as well. So, yes, to answer that question, I am very, very proud of Jacqueline and so very thankful that she is my partner. So, we couldn't leave without me saying that. I had to do that.
Oh, thank you. I know you're proud of me, and I know I work hard, and I know you work hard too. And there's something that we haven't mentioned. I was looking over here at what's sitting on the dining room table, and it's a bunch of blank signs. Because the Petals from the Past Alabama YouTubers meet and greet is coming up so fast. April 22nd. Us and a whole bunch of other Alabama channels are going to be at Petals from the Past for a meet and greet. If you want to learn more about it, go to headfamilyfarm.com and go under events, and all of the information is there. It is a free, open to the public event. It does not cost you anything to come to. Petals from the Past is also doing antiques in the garden that day. There will be antique vendors, craft vendors, delicious food, and I'm pretty sure the kettle corn is coming back this year.
I hope so. They're awesome.
Awesome people. But it's going to be a really fun time, and we hope to see some of y'all there. And if you can't be there, we will be putting out a video showing the event, because we know so many of you can't come, and I mean that's understandable.
And, I mean, there's going to be probably 10 videos about it.
There probably will be, but I don't know.
From everybody there, you'll get several
year,
different perspectives, I imagine.
Last year, I think it was only us and one or two other people that put out videos about it.
Yeah. Well, I think last year there were more videos about all of us hanging out
Oh.
and not just the petals thing. So
Well, we'll show it all. And we have new friends that are going to be there. We have old friends that are going to be there. We have some friends that aren't going to be there because it's just for Alabama. But there will be a fall event too that is going to be really big and really fun. It is going to be in September back at Petals from the Past. We're not putting out all of the details about it right now because we don't want to cause confusion with this spring event.
Yeah.
But coming very soon, as soon as we get past the spring event, you're going to start hearing about the fall event. And that one is open to the U.S. And we are going to have some awesome, awesome people coming. So we're excited. Thank y'all so much for hanging out with us tonight. We will see you in our video tomorrow and again really soon. You going to do your sign off?
Yep. Well, I said that. Thanks, farm friends. Y'all have a good one, and we'll see you again soon.